everyone, and I hope you're having a fabulous day today in whatever you are doing and wherever you are in the world. Today we're going to talk about tarot. It is reflective. It is it depends on your perception of it, and also it is predictive. So we're going to explain why the tarot is reflective. When you first learn to read tarot cards, or even if you're an experienced tarot reader, you'll become a better reader if you use the tool of reflection. So I'm going to use an example with the Anna K deck. So we'll shuffle through here and we'll say that you've had your question. It doesn't matter what the question is. Now, isn't it interesting that we're talking about reflection and I pull a card that shows someone in reflection state? This is how wonderful the cards are. They're so magnificent. Everyone should be learning the tarot cards because they are that magnificent. So this woman is kind of staring at, out into the darkness of the night and the different phases of the moon, and she's reflecting. So I'm going to reflect on a card that's about reflecting. This is the High Priestess card, by the way, and she is ruled by the moon. And so in a reflective state, you're kind of in an open, relaxed, you're just reflecting on what you could reflect on this woman reflecting by the tree, that maybe this could literally be a sign that the person needs to just sit back and use the skill of reflection, which is just allowing the space to be open, allowing your mind to be in a space where you're open to whatever messages flow to you, right? You're reflecting on the situation with no judgment, really. You're just kind of observing the situation. And the High Priestess is a quietness. It's a quietness. It's a quiet state. And you don't have any expectations when you're in that state. So I would be reflecting on the High Priestess as a state of quietness, inner knowing, waiting for the messages to come, and being in a receptive state. And in reflecting on it, you also might draw upon past experiences. Maybe the High Priestess has come up when it's a time not to reveal everything. It's about hidden aspects. And so when you reflect, you can go out back to the past and draw those experiences forward. So that is one of the areas where reflection is, an important tool to use when you're doing the tarot. And then you have predictive. So how is today going to go? What's going to happen today? And so we're using the universal weight. And we're going to say, how is today going to go? How is today going to go? And you just, shuffle a card. And look at this. This is the Devil card. So there could be something stuck, something, about today. The Devil card can be blocks or something stuck. When I get a card like that, because that's not always a positive card. Usually, in fact, the Devil is read more negatively. I will ask, is there anything I can do to turn that energy around or to become unstuck? And then I'll ask that. So in the predictive tool, it predicted something being stuck today, something not going right. So is there any action I can take to change that? Shuffle the cards, or, however you shuffle them. And it just says, look at here, he's in a reflective state again. Take time out, but don't be so passive that you don't see the opportunity coming. This is the Four of Cups. See, the universe is trying to show that an opportunity is coming, and they are in an emotional state of not wanting to receive. So the action for today is, if something does go wrong, or if something, if there's a mishap of some kind, don't withdraw to where you miss the point of it. You miss an opportunity that will be a result of it. So that's the predictive state of the tarot. And then you have the observation and perception. Reflection is being in a quiet, open state for messages to come to you. Perception is active, okay? It's an active state. You're actively observing. You're actively changing your method of looking at something. I perceive danger, or I perceive that because these certain symbols are in the card, that we need to pay attention to this. Pay attention to the bumper stickers. Pay attention, I have some friend who makes these beautiful cards, Linda Morris. She makes these beautiful cards. This is the Angel of Protection. And this is a card about, I just love her. I'm going to put a little plug for her in the back. Light Work Greetings by Linda. these are such high vibrational cards. And by the way, you could actually do readings with these cards. They have such high energy. So anyway, your perception. So I'm going to use the Illuminati, and we're going to say, what can we perceive in this card? Well, so we're gonna pull a card out, and this looks like Ace of Wands. And so if we're perceptive in this card, I'm sorry, I have a different camera on my computer. If we're perceptive, look at this. We see, like, it almost looks like a Capitol building in the background, and we see some mountains, and we see a hand coming out with a staff, and the flames. Those are the Kabbalah Yad flames. And so our perception is, in this card, is the hand seems to be taking control. It seems to be coming out of the clouds, which could be help from spirit. And the building in the background reminds us of a capital. So it could be that our perception is to focus on leadership, right? If that all Capitol buildings kind of have a dome, focus on leadership. Or maybe foreign country, right? Because that kind of had the feel of a foreign country. So I perceive that maybe I better pay attention to foreign affairs, or if I'm going to travel to a foreign country. Now, when you're using the art of perception and you have a card that's too noisy, what I call a deck that's too noisy, there's so much going on in it that if you use perception and observation, and observed every little detail, you'd be spending hours on this. But what you could do is an overall perception, okay? You could notice the children or people. Notice the people in the card, and they seem to be going up to a stairway, up to a higher level. And so you could perceive. Now, when you use the art of perception, it means that, gosh, did the color in the room here change? Because it's a little weird, orangey. Oh, I'm wearing orange. Maybe it's modeling my shirt. So I perceive that the energies of this room kind of shifted. I perceive that. I'm still not judging. Reflective and perception are still not judging, okay? Judging would be, well, I saw those two people, and, they're obviously not paying attention to that old man in the back, because they're so self-absorbed. I mean, you're making a judgment. You're making a judgment that they're self-absorbed. That's a judgment kind of thing. So you want to stay away from judgment when you're doing readings, because it doesn't serve a purpose when you're doing tarot readings. But your perception and observation and reflecting on the cards, this is all good tools to help you become a better reader. So I hope that this kind of explained a little bit about all the variety that you can bring to the tarot, and I hope your readings are happy.